My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin
Yeah,
is black.
I feel so good to be black right now. What you
Welcome to episode 170 of the Black in Fashion podcast. That's crazy that I can even say 170. That means we've been doing this for a very long time. So this is great. We have a few episodes left for this season, and I thought I'm going to wrap up this season with some amazing guests. And I am so excited about today because I got me some inventors on the line, okay? And I love a family. I love a family business, honey. So I have Juperi on the line. Her and her daughters are actually designers. They are changing the head wrap game. They even went as far as making sure they got a utility patent on that piece, okay? So it is called Kena Wrap. I said that right?
Yes.
Kena Wrap, and you're going to be able to find them on kenawrap.com. And of course, I'm going to put all of their information in the show notes. But we're going to get into a little bit about them. So, Juperi, can you tell me a little bit about where you're from and, a little bit about your background? Doesn't necessarily have to be anything fashion related, but just a little bit about your journey and your career and where you grew up and where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for, having me on the podcast. And, we're very excited to be here and to share our story, with others. My name is Juperi Johnson. I'm actually speaking to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So this is where I live and where the Kena Wrap was born. I have 3 daughters. 2 of my daughters are twins, Kyla and Ashlyn, and they are who I started the business with. So we started, they're 13 now. We started this whole journey when they were about 9 or 10 years old, and we created the Kena Wrap to solve a need. Right. We were looking for something that we really couldn't, for one, something that wouldn't slip off at nighttime, on the kids, and something that would work on all 3 of our hair because it's very versatile. And so we needed something that would work for us. I just, incorporated my daughters into every bit of this journey. I do have an MBA in business marketing, but my journey actually started, with the Kena Wrap. That's where I was able to apply everything that I've been learning throughout this, whole process through school and, your everyday work life, that all of us have. I'm so grateful that I've been able to take all of this knowledge and, turn it into a business, family business at that, with my daughters.
I love that. So would you say that it is very, very hot in New Mexico and you guys needed something like this to protect your hair? I've never been to New Mexico, so I'm very interested in how humidity and like the weather out there really affects like black girl hair.
Right. Well, there is no humidity out here, so that's the
effect,
good. On our hair is that it's just dry, completely dry.
Okay.
So it is very hot out here. We don't get the same temperatures as, let's say, Arizona or something like that. But yes, it's very hot out here. We get all 4 seasons here in New Mexico, however.
Really?
So, it snows during the winter. Yeah, it snows, and right now, it's spring and everything, and so. But, you mentioned, protecting your hair. One of the biggest feedbacks that I do get is, people that will message me or, send me something on social media and say that the Kena Wraps, at least for the people out here, have definitely helped their hair, protecting it from the heat. I have ladies that'll wear Kena Wrap outside gardening because the hair, the sun is just so damaging because there isn't any humidity. There's none at all out here. So it literally will fry your hair, going for a run out, outside, you get fried.
Oh, wow. So the utility patent, was that very hard to get? I have one other client that had to get one of those, and I know it's such a strenuous process. What was that process like for you going through it?
Yeah, it was. I was second guessing, should you go out for the patent because it's time consuming and you need resources. a patent costs money. You have to hire a patent attorney, to go through the process with you and, all of that. But what actually got me to do it was I was actually doing a pitch competition, and it was just virtual. It was in the middle of COVID, right? So that's another thing, starting, inventing something and starting a small business. We did it in the middle of COVID. So that had its own challenges in itself. But I was doing a pitch competition, and it was virtual. And, one of the judges, said something like, this is, a great product. And I had something on my business plan where, what are the next steps for the Kena Wrap? And, the next step was to patent my product. You know what I mean? And they said, well, I wouldn't worry about, patenting your product. That's just too time consuming. And this was, one of the judges. They said, I wouldn't waste my time, doing something like that unless you think your product is going to go, international. And I said to myself, well, why wouldn't my product go international? Like, why wouldn't that be something I'd automatically be thinking about? Of course, right?
Absolutely.
And so that really gave me the push that I needed to, this is something that I need to do, because what a lot of people don't realize is, again, we started in COVID. And so I have an apparel product, right? This is fabric,
Right.
And so, I was faced with, do I have our product manufactured here in the United States, or do we outsource it? But to be able to do that, I needed to be able to protect my idea. And so the patent really came to me, not necessarily that we quote unquote needed it, but I had a bigger vision in mind. Yes, of course, one day I want to be, selling online internationally. And so I would rather protect my idea now instead of having to backtrack. But it was, time consuming. However, I can tell you it was probably one of, if not the greatest thing that we have done for our business, because it has opened so many doors for us. Just to say that we have our patent, it literally takes us to the next level.
I love that. I love to hear that Black girl magic, and the fact that you made sure that you incorporated your daughters at such a young age, and like really are showing them like the value of business and hard work and dedication. And also just like, even when people try to say crazy things, like I wouldn't waste my time. He's like, no, I'm going to move forward regardless of what people are saying. I love that. That's what's up. So tell me, when it came to your sampling process, I know sometimes that can also be a very, very long process of getting like the exact right fit, getting the correct fabrics, all that stuff. How did your product development process, what did that look like for you?
It looked like my daughters and I, sitting in my office on the floor with fabric swatches and, really doing research. We took a lot of time to create an extremely versatile product. Fit and quality were two of the main factors behind the Kena Wrap design process. So we worked hard with creating the most versatile, comfortable wearing head wrap possible. Again, we went into this solving a need. How do I not get this bonnet to not fall off of my daughters, when they're sleeping at night? And then I would put a do-rag on and then wrap it with the bonnet, to make sure it didn't fall off at night.
Secure. You're trying to secure the hair.
Right,
okay.
Right. So it's like, how do we do this? So it was a lot of research, a lot of trial and error to try to find the right products. But, one of the things that we searched is, Google. Google is, you can be your best friend when you need some research done. And so, we just searched, small batch manufacturers or, something like that really got the wheels turning to help us really form the Kena Wrap and put that together. I didn't even know how to sew, when I thought of the Kena Wrap. And so I fell asleep one night with an idea, and I woke up the next morning and I literally took some pieces of fabric together and glued it. Just so I had the idea out of my head.
It came into you in a dream? Did it come to you in a dream?
I was fooling around with, different, so this falls off. So, we shouldn't have it scrunched up around the edges, right? Because it's automatically just going to come off. And so let's do another. So I had the design, I guess you could say, in my head. But yeah, literally one night I fell asleep, and then the next morning it was like, I have to get this out of my head. I have to do this. So I got, I had daughters, and so I got just fabric, T-shirts and pajamas. and literally cut it open and glued these together just to get it out of my head. And then we went, the next step was finding seamstresses, right? How do we now produce this idea that we have formulated?
How many rounds of samples would you say you went through to get to the perfect product?
Oh, I have at least 13.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
See,
I mean,
I'm
like,
so
I
glad you
thought,
said that. And the reason why is I don't know. I own a small batch factory here in New York.
oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
I own a company. It's called LC Apparel Consultants. So we do full service product development and production for, honestly, Black designers and emerging designers. And we started our business a little bit before COVID, but I've been in full time entrepreneurship running this factory now for almost 5 years. And when I tell you the impatient level of people trying to create product, we'll make 2 samples, and these people are so upset and so mad and don't want to
Oh,
finish.
yeah.
I'm like, we only did 2. Like, we have to get to a space. So you say, and then I'm talking about apparel. It took 13 times to get a head wrap together. How long do you think it takes to get clothes to be in the perfect thing? So, keyword, people, patience. Patience and getting the right product. And were you happy at the end is what matters.
Exactly. And, when we're talking about, a patented design, I couldn't, you can't, we have to go all in, and it has to be, the both functional and practical. So patience was needed, and then, like I said, I would think that, oh yeah, at number 8, like, we got this, let's, mass produce it. And then I give it to, my sister-in-law, to try to find it. And my sister-in-law is Hispanic, she came back to me and said, this slipped off within an hour of wearing it, Jupera. Like, this don't work. And so I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I totally forgot that I'm trying it on, people with braids and coarse hair and dreads and or locks, and everything like that. But if I'm actually going to market this as a super versatile product, I need it to actually get the testing to prove that, right? So yeah, she was literally one of them that came back to me and said, this isn't working, like, this is falling off. So I had to change the fabric. And that's where the Kena Wrap stands out, our secret sauce, if you will, is that it isn't the shiny, silky type of bonnet that you're seeing, because there's no purpose of that. The silk needs to be in the inside. So we took the crepe back satin and we simply reversed it. Instead of the shiny being on the outside, where that's not protecting your hair, it needs to be on the inside. And so we have the soft part in the inside and the matte on the outside. So that's what differentiates us from other head wraps you see on the market. And it was really a flaw design that really happened,
And if what's crazy, I did a couple hair wraps during COVID too, and I did a whole run of for a lady in Houston called Sheila Moore. And we did almost like 2,000 hair wraps, and we had an issue the same way as far as like getting it to stay on certain head types and stuff like that. And we end up switching it to a stretch satin span, a stretch satin. They had like a little bit of poly inside of it, and we switched it to that too. The crazy thing is, I had recommended that from the beginning, but I mean, of course, I'm a lot more fabric knowledgeable than like a lot of my clients. And then when we had to go backward and we had to do so many samples, I'm like, we going back to where I said to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's crazy. I love that. So where do you see Kena Wrap in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Well, I would love to, be walking down the store, walking in Target or, and, walking with my daughters and seeing the Kena Wrap, there in the stores. And so, of course, long term, we would love to see it in retail, mass produced. Right now, we sell strictly on KenaWrap.com, as well as other marketplaces and events, right? So I travel East Coast quite a bit to other events to sell the Kena Wraps. But the goal is to actually get this into the healthcare industry. Okay. So, when you're talking about hair protection and, finding something that's, the right fit for you, wrapping your hair, is recommended by health experts and professional stylists alike. It's an effective way, to protect your hair and your scalp. But what I've realized throughout these, past couple of years is that it can also be used as a natural conditioning method, for keeping your hair manageable. And also within the healthcare industry. So I would love to see the Kena Wrap being used in hospitals and clinics to help people either regrowing their hair or help people with hair loss, help people that are fighting hair loss with medical treatments, or alopecia or, anything like that. So right now our wraps were used in the DC National Children's Hospital.
Oh,
and it has been working very, very well there. So we're trying to become an official supplier in DC. So that's one of the things that we're working on.
Oh, congratulations on that.
Thank
Now,
you.
I have to ask you, because you got that MBA, what would you say was one of your biggest challenges in business thus far?
So just, to be honest.
But not just a challenge. You know what? Let me rephrase that question. I want to know what was something challenging, but it made you a better business owner. Like, I had to go through this and sit through this to make myself better.
So two things. The first thing is simply that I started this during COVID. If nothing else, it taught me patience. It taught me that I don't have a manufacturer that I can just go and sit with face to face, right? Because no one was meeting face to face at the time. So I was sending samples in the mail, and then manufacturers were closing down and saying, we'll get to you, in 2 months. And so it taught me to be patient, but that taught me to be resourceful. If I didn't have mentors to sit with at the time face to face, if I didn't have a manufacturer, like yourself, to sit with me and tell me, this is the fabric you need, Juperi, I knew I needed to do it myself. And it's the best thing that I could have done. The second thing, though, the challenge is, and I'm sure you've heard this before with other minority business owners, the funding.
Oh, yes.
Lack of financial resources to a small business startup has not only been challenging, but frustrating. And so that taught me to think outside of the box and to sort of, instead of the traditional loans, become a very good grant writer. And so far, the Kena Wrap has won a number of grants. The last one we just won was the FedEx grant, a small business grant. And so, again, this is something that I'm teaching my daughters. Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations.
But, I never really, grants are cumbersome. They're tiresome, and you have to provide all this information. And to be honest, I never even would have thought about going that way if I didn't have these doors that were closed, in my face. You want to get a $10,000 grant, you need the collateral, right? And it's like, well, I'm a small business owner. I'm a single mom. I don't have the collateral, right now. And so they won't even look at you, and was like, well, let me go to these places that are willing to hear my story and give you money, right? And that's what grants are. They're free money. Right. And so, that was one of the challenges that I was able to overcome that actually made us better.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations on that. I love to hear things like that. It took me a long time to get like my first grant too, but once it started and that floodgate opened, I was like, here we go. And since I've gotten about 3 or 4, and I have a non-for-profit that just got one recently for a fashion summer camp for kids to teach them entrepreneurship. And I got that one recently, and then I got one for my manufacturing business a little while ago, just to kind of get more equipment. I was able to hire a couple more people and stuff. So I always say, like, when it comes to grants or whatever, yes, it's super duper time consuming, but that payoff is worth it because you ain't got to pay it back. Not like a loan at all.
Right.
Okay. So I have a last segment before we wrap up. It's called It's a Muse. I would love for you to be able to share any affirmations, mantras, prayers, a book, maybe anything that you use to keep you pushing along. And then I'd love for you to share if you have anything current going on, sales. And of course, we'll drop all of this information in the show notes as well.
Right. For anyone listening, I think the one thing I would want people to take from this is you have to be obsessed with your own potential. Like, you have to be your own cheerleader. And I have a wonderful support system. My dad is my biggest customer, my biggest supporter. But you have to be obsessed with yourself. Yes,
I'm writing
with
that
your
in my
own
captions,
potential.
girl. You got to be obsessed with your own potential. I love that. That's a word.
And the most important thing that anyone can do right now when thinking of, starting a small business or, a new venture, if they have this idea, is to be patient while things are unfolding for you. Everything that you do today can help your future. And if you're patient, and again, I just go back to I have no patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I learned to have that patience during COVID. I cried constantly, and it allowed me to be still. So I think that's what I would say is, the most important thing you could do right now is to be patient and still while the things are unfolding for you.
I love that. I love that. And if you have any exciting news, anything you want to promote, events, any pop-ups you're going to be at that you like to put out there so everybody knows where to come get them on Kena Wrap?
Yes, well, the one of the things I'm really excited about is, I'm all for paying it forward and teaching the younger generations, right? If, we're sitting here talking about the challenges and, everything that I face, why would I want, the next person to have those same challenges, right? And so I'm figuring out a way where I can share my knowledge with the world and other young entrepreneurs. And so right now I'm creating an ebook to help guide other women starting startups or, looking to start over, right? Whether if it be with finances or just needing a fresh start, to show them how they can seize this opportunity and, find these big wins with this self-discovery. So it's going to be more of a journal / workbook business guide where I can actually teach you the steps and quite literally the steps that I have taken to get to where I am now. We just last month won our first government contract. Mm-hmm. So, picture a head wrap, right? Now being sold, within the government is the United States, biggest buyer. It's the biggest money maker, if you will, the biggest spender for your products that you have. So anybody that has a tangible product should be seeking to work with the government. And I just secured my first government contract, and so we will be. It's just amazing, right? And it goes back to be obsessed with your own potential. When you think of, well, how can the government use a head wrap? Well, how can the government not use a head wrap? Look at all of the entities and the businesses that, the government has. And so, I'm teaching, women how to do that. But it's not just, you want to create a business plan, here are, 3 steps to do it. No, I'm teaching you, if you want to create a business plan, get Canva. Get a membership with Canva, and I'm teaching you the steps to actually create your business plan, to actually create your pitch deck. And now with AI, we know that that's, becoming big. And so within my book, I'm also teaching how to use AI to help launch your career and streamline a lot of these business activities that, quite frankly, you don't have to do yourself anymore.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. I have to share something with you too then. So I'm an adjunct professor at FIT, and I just did a AI series, and for the instructors, the professors that committed to doing the AI series, they're allowing us to create projects and curriculums using AI to advance business. So I'm actually working on like my projects that I'm going to be incorporating and how to use AI in the classroom. So that's
I
exciting. I
love that.
love that.
I would love to connect with you more on that.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. We have each other's number. This is my sale actually. So like feel free to reach out. But I love that. We definitely should connect, and I can definitely, help you promote the book in any way. We can, of course,
Yes.
give your advertising on the podcast. But even too, I have a very big small business network here, and a lot of like aspiring entrepreneurs that could really
Mm-hmm.
use something like that, like as a tool to really kind of like propel them forward. So I love that. I cannot wait
Right.
until it's ready
Yeah,
to go.
yes, the book is called, Starting Over Stronger.
Starting over stronger.
Again, I keep saying that I did this during COVID, but I also did it while going through a divorce. And that's
Gotcha.
what a lot of people don't talk about, is not giving up. So this is really, a woman's journey, right, to starting a small business while starting over.
Love that. Love that. And congrats to you and all your success. And I just got to give you your flowers, girl. Like, I have to.
Thank you.
Like, that is amazing. I love what you're doing, what you stand for. I love it. And you remind me a lot of something that my mom says. And she always says, like, 'cause she found the love of her life when she was 55. Just it being a love thing, but just as a whole, like even get into the things
Right.
that she wanted to a life. Her saying is, "It's never too late to find your happily ever after."
I love that.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Juperi, for joining us today. Of course, we will make sure we drop all your information in the show notes. You guys can find the Kena Wraps at KenaWrap.com. And if you want to just throw out your social media handles as well.
Yes. So find me on Instagram at all things Pera, Peri. And then also, of course, we're on the Kena Wrap is on Instagram, just at Kena Wrap.
Perfect.
We do quite a bit of, I guess you could say, educational videos on TikTok. So we are Kena Wrap Head Wrap on TikTok, and that's where I do things. Every month I'll do a video of business grants, that you can apply for, or new AI things that are coming out. So that's always a good channel to follow.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Juperi. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. And as I always say, guys, stay black. Peace out.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.